Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is good, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to episode 146 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Kind of an impromptu episode for y'all. Not much announced, but I thank you if you're rocking with us at any point in the chat or watching this in general. Numbers have been good. Watch time's been good. I appreciate you. Likes have been good. Hey, you're liking what you're seeing. Thanks to, well, let me introduce them first. They are the Angelina Love and Velvet Sky to my cute Kip. It's Johnny and Lucha. What's going on, guys?
Please, dear God, am I Angelina?
I mean, who gives a shit at this point, right?
I'm just kind of mad I'm not cute Kip. I'm not going to hold you.
Cute Kip was unavailable.
Q-Kip was unavailable. He's working something tonight, I think. Johnny, welcome back, man.
Hey, good to see y'all.
A little impromptu LOLTreeNA as we plug that, as we just literally just wrapped up talks about when we're going to film that and when it's going to come out. So look forward to that. And the ever exciting Halloween episode that will...
Oh, yeah. That's a landmark for us at this point.
You know, it's like our episode 1000. But we got a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about episode 1000. You guys know the deal. We'll shoot the shit. Hopefully the chat lights up. But if not, we have enough personalities and voices going on today that I'm sure we could fill some time. But we'll do our hour. We never like to go over Impact's 86 minutes or 84. But they went over this week at, what was it, 104? So a lot of action, so much so. And we talked about this, Johnny, on the way back, you know, when we were driving around. We thought it was going to be broken into two parts. They never announced it, but it felt like there was a lot of damn content.
Yeah, sure.
And this is half of it. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some stories of things Lucha and I mentioned last week when we reviewed Victory Road and dropped some hints as well about the crowd and some things. I will say I like to do shit I missed on the other show, so I'm going to do that here real quick. When listening to our show back, loved it, by the way. Love talking with you, Lucha.
Always.
You know. When you get yours in, it's that sativa, man. I did notice, even though I stick to my guns about the situation in the bathroom, you should wash your hands. It felt like I made light of you should, no matter if I shit and didn't wash, but you should always wash your hands. Let's be frank. That wasn't the point. It was the audacity of where it was coming from. Anyways, we got a bunch of other stupid stories. I imagine Johnny and I will hit from us being there. If I should have brought the photos, but if you watched, we are I wore the yellow man hat guy on episode 1000 and the TNA bright white shirt with the reflective glasses. We'll talk about that, but. Overall, thoughts on the show? Enjoyed it? We'll get to grade. We'll get to review, but meet expectations. Where are we at?
For me, it was kind of like, because I remember the TNA No Place Like Home show that they did that was supposed to have led up to the other TNA reunion show that they were going to do pre-COVID.
Right.
So episode 1000 was kind of like that plus Slammiversary, the 20-year anniversary, kind of like together. Okay. It was like both of those molded, you know what I'm saying, with a little bit of continuity sprinkled in there.
Yeah, Johnny.
I think I was expecting maybe some more surprises. Keeping within this episode, but. Rhino, I guess, was a run-in, and he still got the nostalgic entrances for people, and maybe that was enough to satisfy.
Well, see, that's actually one of the main points I had when watching this back. It was like, okay, we enjoyed it in person, but I wanted more surprises, but if we just never expected Gale to wrestle, or Kong to wrestle, or Raisha Saeed to be there, or Angelina, and all, we got our announcements early to sell some tickets, which they did, which is understandable. But the amount of greatness that was there, including, though, even though we kind of predicted it, Lucha, Masha and not Masha, Jesus, Tasha and Mickie. I was mixing them together. So we got a lot of stuff. It just I think we blew it up in our minds a little bit too much. Got away with ourselves, and maybe there's some good things to come on episode part 2, but of this. But we'll get right into this, starting with BTI. Of course, want to plug everything that's going on this channel, including LOLTreeNA, which will be back soon, as we said, in October. Lucha on Go Power Rankings on Tuesdays, and we'll hit up TNA 2K, which is not dated, so go watch that whenever you want. Finish 3 tournaments. We'll be rocking some more soon. And then, of course, TNA, or G's Trivia House TNA edition. Play along, have some fun, walk down some nostalgic shit, and then drop your emoji of how you scored in there. All right, guys. BTI, Josh Matthews and Gia. Did you guys watch BTI by chance? The match on there. Johnny did.
I did.
Okay. Thoughts of how? Right.
Oh, wait, wrong way. Here we go.
Josh Matthews, by the way. Shout out to Josh Matthews if he's watching. He got to walk down and got a nice little pop there. What's up, Bio?
Hey.
So it's nice to see Josh there. But BTI was the show. We had Kylan King versus Jody Threat. Jody Threat picking up the win. A little shenanigans going on with the leg going on. We watched this, obviously, in person. And in person, it felt maybe like it wasn't intentional, but watching it back, it was very much a part of the act, right?
Right. Yeah, it definitely. I'm glad that it was acknowledged, and it wasn't just Dane Crook involved.
Dane Crook, Lucha. So we got Francois Kazarian. We got Allison because she's Allison.
Motherfucking referee. That's motherfucking referee Allison. You got to say the whole name.
There we go. I like it. Put some respect on it. And then we've I was gonna say damed, but that's not the term. We've knighted Spencer, or not Spencer?
Yeah,
Daniel Spencer. He is Dane Crook. He is the evil brother of Dane Crook who stole all the money.
He is also known to me and Diamond King as Griselda Ref. Because when we were in the Nashville tapings, we both had our West Side Gun hoodies, and he's just sitting there staring at us, and he's like, "Are those West Side Gun hoodies?" And we're like, "Oh shit, you know about West Side Gun?" And he's been Griselda Ref ever since.
That's unexpected from Dane
as
Crook.
Fuck
from Dane Crook. No, I didn't know that was the demo there. But hey, cool, good for him, man. Good for West Side Gun. But yeah, so the match, I thought this was great, and I thought this was smart because, you know, they're utilizing BTI. These are 2 women that are on that cusp. We talked about it. We expect big things from it, and you could tell why. Great match. And on top of that, the Battle Royal happened. Lish had that sneak-in victory, so this kind of closed that too to say, hey, we were the last 2. Let's show, you know, who can, you know, put their head before the other. Or whatever, I don't know. It's going to be off the rails. But anyways, yeah, great way to start BTI because right after that we're going to get into some more knockout stuff, but not before the intro 1000. Johnny, we'll mention it. We kind of talked about it off air, and we'll mention it when we get to Feast or Fired, I believe. We mentioned it on the show, Lucha, about the TNA chants and how I felt Team or Bully, you know, was sent out there and with a purpose. But for all that shit I felt going into or driving home from the show, shooting the shit, that intro, man, really hit every note. And there's been some, you know, not some, but there was at least one that for Slammiversary that Lucha and I didn't, you know, really fuck with for lack of better terms. But this, man, I thought this hit it out of the park. Had a little bit of everything, showed the history of the 1,000 episodes. Like, I mean, that's a lot of content, obviously, to cover, and I thought it did a great job while integrating some things that are popular today still that people may or may not know came from or were birthed in Impact. So, Lucha, your thoughts on the intro there?
Yeah, this was it should have been Slammiversary. No, it was a good intro. We were playing a game when me, my cousin, and my girl were watching of are they gonna show this person? And everyone that we thought that they would show, they showed, except for one Diamond. that will go unnamed. I was like, oh man, so they really ain't gonna show her. That it must be ugly, because especially coming from the company who's all about women's history,
Sure.
and then that moment being a big moment for, you know what I'm saying, women's wrestling and all, I would have imagined that at least the image of her with the belt when they were talking about the knockouts would have been like flashed, if not for a half second.
Fair enough. For Johnny and our viewers, in case speaking of Tessa, who sometimes to not be named. I don't know, man. Wonder if it's they don't want to spoil something. I don't know. But Johnny, your thoughts on that as well? Besides maybe some missing. I do have a game that I played with the knockouts video that I'll mention in just a second, Lucha.
No, it was just like well produced. I didn't catch any like omissions or whatever at the time, but I was just trying to see. It just seemed different maybe than what we saw in person.
Yeah.
Or yeah. But nah, I had all the flashbacks. So
yeah,
and it didn't have Sonny Siaki, which fuck yeah.
Oh man, I'll never forget meeting Sonny Siaki.
I'm sorry.
Case is a douche. Shout out to Case. Do you remember? Were you? Oh, you weren't there. It was the Hermie Sadler show, but brutal. Yeah, as someone going, like I said, coming home from this thinking like, man, TNA they'll use the lineage, but Impact is where they're going, and I still believe, that's where they are, and that's where they'll ever be. I think that's the case, unless they're working some crazy TNA versus Impact storyline, which I don't think is the case. We'll get to that in just a moment. But to go from that feeling to watching this, it was just night and day. I was like, oh man, so I wasn't going in with a stink face. I'm going to look for the silver lining and whatever and anything. But it took me by surprise how well me, who was nitpicking the erasing of TNA, I was pretty impressed. Moving on, this is the segment of segments. This was hella fun in person. And to have one after the other on TV. My daughter was watching with me, actually, when I rewatched this. And she was like, another girl! Like, she was just so happy. Like, her over excitement. I'll let you guess who's her favorite. Well, no, she loves Jordan. But Trinity was one of them. So we have Scott. I'm just going to go through it because it goes Scott and Gail and then the KO video. The game I played with that, I was saying this was surreal close up. Yeah. By the way, Johnny, I never met Io in flesh, face to face. He was about 5 rows down from us. And the power of the phone, man.
Right there.
If I just had my phone. Johnny could attest. Not a phone dude. Johnny was, though. He just gave me a Dropbox full of of great clips and stuff that I'm going to go through. But the KO video here, I played a game called How Many Madisons? Because there was, holy shit, Madison Rain. Not a bad thing, just something I noticed. Anyways, that was the game I played. So after this, we get Beautiful People, and it is just the who's who of Dale Oliver, Serge Salinas mixes. It's Beautiful People track. It's, well, Giselle, of course, and Jordan, but and Deanna, all bangers. Trinity, all bangers. But then Kong and Mickie and Tasha before that. So much great shit, all coming back, or either from nostalgia way, or from injury in Mickey's case or Tasha's case. Just so much craziness here, man. What was I hate to say it like this, but Lucha, what was the biggest pop for you out of these 12? That 13, 14 that were in the ring, whatever it was?
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier, and it was kind of like in the same lane of what you said about this being announced. So kind of like some of that layer was kind of off of it. Like, had this segment played out and no one had any idea who was going to come out.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
I'm glad that Kong's theme in 2023 still warrants that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mickie too, man. I was saying in there,
yes.
Kong. And
Mickie with the fucking Cena pop.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, and Tasha Steele's with hers too, because we love. Impact got flavor. The fans got flavor. That's why we fucks with Tasha Steele.
Right.
So.
Yeah, she went over well too, man. And I was kind of nervous because I said that at Victor wrote about the recognition of the fan recognition of the product. but it was cool to see everyone get the love here. Deanna getting her name chanted as well, man. Trinity, everybody. ODB getting a chant. This was just a great segment, produced, executed. It was a good time for all. Johnny, what was your biggest takeaway from that? Was it the Kong pop and Mickie?
I think Mickie James, actually. Yeah, because Mickie was, I guess, the surprise of the bit, even though we had a good feeling.
Right.
But no, so I think that was the surprise of it all. I wasn't necessarily with Tasha personally, but I think the big second was Kong, more so because people weren't expecting Raisha Saeed, I guess, with her. Yes. Or like maybe they just didn't stand out, so they were just like, oh god, she's with her too.
Right. I don't know where we saw it. I know when we went into the convention thing, whatever, Fan Fest, Melissa Flash was there, so we knew she was gonna be taken apart. But I just don't remember why it was still. Maybe it was just surreal because when Kong had her second run or third, or maybe third, all of them, there was no Raisha. That was a character that was such a pinpointed era of Kong's presentation. So it was really cool, man. What I did see, and we'll have to look out for the tail end of it during the match, is Bright. I don't want to shit on anybody, but you could see us, and you could see the guy that I had to tell to be quiet, unfortunately. So I'm interested to see that. I also did see, the reason I mentioned that is because I also saw taped off chair guy almost eat it when I watched back Victory Road. I'll tell you what point he's at. You could see it happen. And you can see, I don't know if I was reaching for it, but it's funny. Anyways, back to the real world. Great segment here. And then we're going to go to something we didn't see in person. You're going to see EY and AMW backstage just shooting the shit. Team Canada playing at Jarrett. And then Santino's going to come in. And then Sharkboy's going to come in after the Lay it on me. What do you got?
Oh my god, when I saw Sharkboy, I was 9 years old. I was like, Sharkboy!
Really?
Did he ever throw it up
the
whole time?
I don't remember.
I don't recall.
I don't know.
But I did for him. If he didn't, I did for him.
Yeah,
and everyone's looking at me like, yo, are you okay? Your voice with some octaves. Oh my god.
Now, I don't want to spoil anything. The glass break, yes, that was a nice little touch. The one thing I took away from this as well was, one, it was cool to see EY be just EY, or what we perceived to be EY, when back in the day. So it was cool to see his guard down. But the smile you saw on Chris Harris' face there is what we saw at FanFest. Now, obviously you didn't stay long. You got to talk and do your thing, but when we were walking up, he was coming down to either go out. I don't know what he was doing, but either way, he shook his hand. Shook hands with every person that was walking down. There's this big smile on his face. Introduced him. Really cool dude. And what you saw there was who that guy perceives to be. So awesome energy coming from Chris Harris in that too. Just happy, man. And it's always great to see James Storm. But Sharkboy, we did get to see him. No spoilers. We do get to see him in what I believe will play out in episode 2. Or part 2.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big surprise, but it was the way they introduced him was nicely done. Going on here, we're getting into Feast or Fired, and I'm going to try to hit up the comments as we go that you guys been leaving on reaction and stuff, so I appreciate you guys. But Millard's saying Feast or Fired was never his favorite, and he doesn't think they're going to let anyone go. But with the 4 case winners, we'll debate that, because I don't know if it's reality or it's just story, because there's been story ones before. But we'll run down it really quick. Joya is the first to be seen after the break where everyone's entering, and you could see us doing it, and you can also see me belly laughing because, first of all, it's Joya, which makes me happy. 2, it's the Joya dance, and 3, just Johnny not watching the product on the regular, but busting out the dance perfectly blew my mind. Also, the parking lot was wonderfully close there. But Joya, PCO, Myers, Moose, Heath, Swinger, Torus, Gouger, Sammy, Macklin, Bay, Laredo, Knight, Jay, Crazy Steve, Johnny Bravo, Kushida, Skylar, and Gresham. Shout out to Dobby the Brain. He not only one of the coolest names, but left a comment that Gresham has been injured for a bit. They mentioned that on the show as well, but I did not know what was going on with him. So thank you for that, buddy. But Bay, Crazy Steve, Moose by weird situation, but good nonetheless. Cool. And then Yuya Yamura all getting a case. It will be revealed on episode part 2. Lucha, I saw you biting your knuckle there. You feel like someone's going, or do you feel storyline-wise, what's your initial thoughts?
I'm thinking it's got to be story because, like, all the people who won a case that could be fired, it's just like, but, like, they always have a but, pause. Like, didn't Bay just sign a deal not too long ago?
To my recollection.
Moose just signed a deal not too long ago?
Longest in history.
Steve just on the verge of this dope-ass new character?
Yeah. Unless...
Yuya with, like, one of the hottest growing tag teams in the company?
It seems out of left field.
Yeah, something's gonna happen. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm biting my nails until Thursday.
Johnny, your thoughts? Obviously, this is all a little bit foreign to you, the different storylines and stuff going on, but your initial thoughts watching it back.
Is Yuya under a deal? I mean, I know he's under excursion, right?
He's excursion, yeah.
Yeah, so...
But the thing with Yuya is he's announced for the tapings versus Josh.
My first reaction to that was that Yuya's got the world title match. Why else would Josh be messing with Yuya? And that's no offense to Yuya, but he's in a tag or a perceived tag with Joya, and that just seems interesting. On the flip side, if he was to be leaving, I guess the farewell match you would want that'd be Josh. So there's a lot of different reasons, spoiler free here. They're going to reveal the results of them. But yeah, Moose would be 100% storyline in our eyes, right? That was a big deal, longest signing in history. Crazy Steve just started this thing. Could he go crazier by losing his job? And then Chris Bay, that's an interesting one. And then I see it could be Moose taking a vacation. That's the other side of this where you have to think of, look, we already know they're upping production. There's going to be less dates or whatever the deal was. Maybe it's someone who's getting, I don't want to say vacation, but some time off camera, or they're not bringing along for the haul here.
Same thing apparently happened with Jordan because we thought when she left, it was like, oh man, so she's free agent. And I don't know how much truth it is because, of the source from the app formerly known as Twitter came out that she, like, when she came back, they were like, yeah, she signed, like, then.
Right. Yeah,
it took a little time off to get, whatever. And I'm like, well, that's a possibility too. So then that makes Moose line up.
Anytime someone goes to the sheets and says, yeah, I don't know when I'll be back, maybe 2024. They're back tomorrow. It was in the works. But yeah, she got some time. So it could be anything like that. It doesn't have to be, hey, Critical Sting. What's up, buddy?
In the beauty.
So yeah, overall, how does Feast or Fire played out in person? It's a clusterfuck, but it's a nostalgia good time. I thought the Rhino thing at the end was amusing. Moose, I'll say he caught it, but he caught it. Yeah, I thought this had a little bit of everything. Had the throwback. Oh, this is the thing we wanted to mention. So last week I said that, Bully came out after his match. They didn't air it, obviously, and was like, we used to chant ECW. We don't do that no more. We used to chant TNA. Used to. We don't do it. So it kind of put a hush on people that wanted to chant that for a while, afterwards. And I think there was no more TNA chants for sure. And there was.
But we still chant ECW, though. So what are you talking about?
I don't get it, man. But this match, Johnny, do you want to deliver it felt like, unless the mics, I'll give the benefit of the doubt, the mics are only on hard cam, which should be weird.
Yeah, depending on the positioning of it all. There was a big that part of the taping with the trusses up and everything, or whatever they're called, was very heavy on the TNA chants, but it didn't come through on the broadcast, which makes you think there was a targeted
The music was muffled.
effort there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think they'll do it next week on Ultimate X?
Well, that's the thing is, even though Bully Ray came and said that and kind of put the kibosh on everyone's fucking burst everyone's bubble, I'm trying to think. I feel like there's matches that might have drawn it, like Ultimate X, but that is next week.
Came before.
Came before. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it's really interesting. I had the same thought. And once again, if it's only mic'd up on there, that's cool. But I feel like other things during Don West's announcement and Mike Tenay's, there was the TNA chant that came through easily. So we'll see. No, look, why would you do that? I don't know. Either there's a reason. As far as I said before, I think that's where the money is, because you're never going to get the stink of TNA Impact brand. It just own it, but that's us. Regardless, maybe there's reasons either way, in my mind, because I'm just going to continuously be a 14-year-old boy. Well, in my wrestling fan, I'm not everything, but I'm gonna picture that it's because there's gonna be a TNA versus Impact storyline. Someone dropped that in the comments last week when we did a show, Lucha, and I was like, all right, cool, or in the chat. But probably not.
TNA versus Impact Lethal Lockdown. Let's go.
Hey man, Josh is on the rags, as he calls them, and talking about he would love to face AJ at Bound for Glory. So who knows what could happen? All I know is I sat on an AJ banner in my back pocket the whole damn tapings, and there was no reason to whip it out.
Yeah.
I also said it was him that gave the idea. All right. So yeah, still a fun match. I love the briefcases because, once again, this is 52 weeks of television, and anytime you can have something yearly to, I don't want to say crutch, but to have as we got that to look forward to every episode, or, every year, or, it's the same with a Christmas episode, or the same with anything else. I like it, and I don't think anyone will be really fired, but who knows? Either way, we got the world title match. Could play on, who knows? They always do something weird. Remember, like, Steiner had the X Division one?
All right.
Yeah, and then I remember when who was it? I guess Kevin Nash won at Feast or Fire. He won a tag title joint.
Damn.
And then he fucking disappeared for a while. And then, or either he disappeared or he just stopped carrying it. So, we forgot about it. And then when Hogan and them came in, he came cashed in on, I think it was like Hernandez or Matt Morgan.
Yep. Well,
and then him, Scott, and EY.
I think it was Matt Morgan when he was both of them.
Yeah.
He was he was they, right? Or something like that?
Yeah.
The champions.
Because him and Hernandez were beefing.
Yep. The cases, though, what was I going to say? The one interesting note I will say with Moose having it, unless it is a vacation or something, was how did he win the world title? Was from cashing in his shot from the gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
Call your shot. So it'd be interesting if he called his shot again and won the tag maybe, or something along those lines.
Hey.
History.
All I got to say is all he needs is one shot.
Oh, Bay? You think?
It's in his theme song, dog.
That is true. What would it be for? We shall see. But speaking of, well, this is past
the Bayhood
X-Division.
dream must come true.
Yeah, you're right. What is? They could put the picture of him holding the TNA one. The one thing also I want to mention on this is the fact that we had a full taping outside of this match and an Ultimate X, and we didn't see any overlaying of wrestlers. And then you look at this match, and everyone is an interesting entity for the most part, right? One that everyone's invested in. I'm trying to read all the names. Speaks to the depth and stability of where we are now at episode 1000. There were weeks where we didn't know who would be week to week. We didn't know if we had more than 2 tag teams sometimes. But to have this amount of depth and have I'm trying to count, but a 12 at least, man, Feaster fired on a card. It's pretty damn cool, man. Cool moment. But speaks to the growth of this company. Next up, Gia's with Chris Sabin. And I said this last week, and we talked about it, Johnny. Like, there was a time, and I just read an article actually where Sabin was talking about it. He tore his ACL for the 3rd time in 2019 before he became a producer at Impact. And we're here in 2023, and the dude is, I won't say that's out of mind, but I mean, like a fine wine. Sabin, man. Damn good. We love you guys.
Man.
Okay.
We love you guys.
Dude, I ride for the Machine Guns so hard on Power Rankings. Like, their dominant run in, like, Power Ranking shit and just an Impact as a whole is just, I love them.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
And
they're
beautiful.
They're both champions again.
Yeah.
Bound for Glory coming up. Still interesting. We'll see what happens. But we got some stuff to hit on. And you know me, try to keep it under Impact's time. Desi Hicks. Okay, so Desi Hicks got, man. Rohit Raju finally. Hey, Dobby the Brain Hidden. Just gave you props, buddy. What's up, buddy?
I am mad at you. I know you didn't send me any spoilers because we had an agreement, but fuck you for not telling me Rohit was back. Holy shit.
Here's partially the reason that I wanted to angle. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out. That I didn't tell you. Because they didn't show it, which was almost more shitty. Just to say, oh, hey, Rohit's just in the ring. Welcome back after 2 years. I don't even want to say it because it was on TV, but it was Ghost Town for the return of him. And I felt so bad. And then I saw this, I was like, even worse. They don't even give him an intro. They just say, I was like, oh my God.
What better way? What better way? Because that's what Desi Hit Squad was when they were, you know what I'm saying?
They could have been more.
If they stick around though, then I feel like they could do some damage. Like,
yeah, man.
I don't even know how many tag teams we're about to have in this damn King of the Mountain matchup Bound for Glory.
You know me. I don't like sticking everybody together just based on what they look like. But you give me a Desi Hit Squad with Gujar and Shira and them two, to the moon, man. To the moon.
Then, come on now. My trios division. Come on now. Come on.
What is it? Quattro division? What is a four-man?
Quad
division. Quads. Speaking of quads, Dobby the Brain, he and Sabin honestly looks better than ever. Is quads the thing they tore? No, ACL. Hasn't lost a step at all. Always seems smoother. Yeah, man. Modern science or just fine wine. I don't know. Fountain of youth. But here, Desi Hit Squad is going to come in. Happy to see him back. Gets put in the table at the end, too. So, you know, look, it's a lot of FaceTime for Rohit. But Team 3D coming back together. You know. Nostalgia. The music, it was fun to hear the get up, get up, get up. Get the bombshells. Critical Stinks that I hate
if they had the pyro.
Yeah. Critical Stinks that I hate the fact it took me 5 seconds to register the fact Rohit was on the mic. Yeah. It was a weird, hey, here's Rohit. Yeah, man, but it was cool to see them, cool to hear that music. The pyro would have been, you know, but we know where we're at. I'm
kind of mad that like nobody in the crowd didn't yell Rohit like Chris Bay would. Like that wasn't like a whole thing. Rohit!
I was waiting for my equality moment, but there was no. We still honor him. Rohit is a legend when it comes to Impact because that moment.
Because his mama calls him son because he shines like one.
That was a moment too. But Team 3D pulling out the stuff here. Johnny, did you enjoy this? I thought it didn't look not smooth in person. It was exactly what we said about the Tommy match. Hit all the right notes. It was booked correctly. Told a story. Got all the spots in. And the crowd ate it up. I thought it played well on TV. And just wish, you know, they could went to the cricket and had some matching gear. But, you know, I digress.
I think, in fact, it actually looked better live just because, you know, you didn't get the... You didn't get the up close, maybe any rust or hesitancy, you know, involved. But it's still cool. Definitely, they were put there for a reason. Desi Hit Squad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna take that 1, 2, 3. But yeah, a good moment. You know, a good time as a fan of ECW growing up as well. And watching, you know, I'll never. Oh man, there's some I still have a tape somewhere, and I used to force you guys to watch them all too. But it was cool. It's cool, man. And this will probably be, I don't want to put a thing on it. If they want to go and they have somewhere, they're going to keep going doing this, if it's here or not. God bless them. But what could perceivably be their last match? It's pretty cool, right? I don't know. Moving on, though. Rascals and Josh. I'm going to make a quick go through these ones because it's 2 talking segments. And I thought it was funny that he talked... Yeah.
I was about to say, I can cover the Josh and Rascals segment real quick. Josh pumped the Rascals real quick. Next.
Well, here's real quick. Josh sounds like me after we were leaving Victory Road when I saw the mess all of these human beings were leaving under their seats. John, you remember, there was piles.
For shame.
I was shaming people. Shame on them. It was just mounds of trash. Pick up your shit. There was a trash can 5 feet away. So that hey, me, Josh, I got you, buddy. I do like the 10 pounds lighter thing though, because I even said to myself, I was like, hey man, he's been nursing some injury. He'll get back. But looks good regardless. He says his piece. He's Captain. Well, he's not Captain America. He's Captain Canada, but you know what I mean. He's Captain Impact. And he's on his way to the ring before that, which makes a lot of sense because we didn't see that segment, but we did watch this one. Him and Shelly throwing barbs a little bit. Josh being more the face in this situation. Shelly just saying, F you. This is my time, fanboy.
Okay, Shelly is fire, and I'm here for it.
Hey,
there's no other way for me to describe it other than cokehead Shelly.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Hanging out with the snowman. Woo.
Him and Tony chilling.
Him and Tony arguing over numbers. 72,000. John, that comment I sent you, by the way, that made my friggin' day. Anyways, back in real world. For you guys, the people watching, Josh and Shelly are going at it. I did see somewhere where it says it locked it in for Bound for Glory, but did anyone actually hear them say that in the... And we definitely didn't hear any segment on episode part 2, so I don't know, man. You know, I don't want to jump the Sharkboy. But a lot of...
You bastard.
He just came to my mind. It just... I can't wait to tape TNAIW.
Is it like Fonz Sharkboy?
Hey, stupid. Speaking of stupid, you can see our dumbasses, myself, right behind Shelly. You sent us the picture. Maybe I'll put them on Twitter if I get on there eventually, of us just watching this segment. But it was cool in person. It was cool on TV. Rascals come in and jump him, which is going to lead to Josh versus Casey Kasem. Josh versus Trey on episode part 2, not Shelly versus Trey, which was originally advertised. So that was a change we found out right then and there. After this, continue this. Am I wrong, or is this backstage? No, this is backstage. Rascals are being Rascals, and Sharkboy and Santino, because Sharkboy took Dango's role. He's the deputy director of authority. They're gonna make a match. And then they're going to make another match because Kenny King and Sheldon Jeans is in there. We're going to get Eric Young versus Kenny King. No spoilers, but I'll say that is another card subject to change. And I love both of those people, but for the better. It gets...
All I got to say is this real quick. If we're going to go the route of like Sharkboy being like Steve Austin when he was the fucking deputy to Eric Bischoff.
Yeah.
God, sign me up.
Sharkboy, by the way, he forget how to do the Steve impression, or is that just how he really talks?
It might be just how he really talks.
Okay. Because I was like, this sounds different. Is this a different dude in a mask?
Did he have the vest on?
Yeah, he had the vest.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Remember.
Oh, okay. Like if he was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was just regular Shark.
He's just regular Shark Boy. Oh man! Either way, we're gonna get some matches. Look out for these next week because the Eric Young versus Kenny King one does grow, and it gets good. Next up is a really good match, especially with someone participating that hasn't wrestled 11 years, or was that what it was for Traci? Which is no, it can't be 11 years. That'd be 2012.
I don't even remember her wrestling in 2012.
That's true, though. That's true. Damn. Well, either way, a long time. I thought this was fun. It was fun in person. It was fun on TV. And then the announcement afterwards. So we get a little wrap up of Kazarian's versus Edwards's, and love Eddie and Lish. Maybe gold in their future. I love them. And then Frankie and Traci. And then it seemed legit in person. It seemed legit on TV. The announcement for Traci going into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Johnny, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, that was fun. It definitely caught her by surprise. Because I think Frankie got the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since 2012. Thank you, Lyle.
2012. Wow.
Yeah, 11 years. Holy shit. Lucha, would this take you by surprise, or were you spoiled, or were you smart enough to that?
The only reason why I was smart enough to it is because I forgot what podcast. I think it was the "You've Got to Be Kidding Me" podcast that Garrett does. They had said something about it on the show, and the dude was like, "No, that hasn't aired yet." And okay. Yeah, so they kind of low key spoiled it on the pod for me. But
well, it happened.
It's still dope though.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, it was really cool, man. We knew it was coming. Obviously, we saw it, but to see it on video, the reaction, then cutting back to the video, we could see the video, but what do we hear? I was too busy listening about Clemson. Yeah. So next up, and at this point, we realize we're going to be going over on time. But we're going to get Lio Rush backstage. As like I said before, as someone who dropped off on Leo's work from ROH until now, the dude is, I love to watch him work. He's going to, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but he's just basically going to cut a promo saying basically Sabin doesn't know what's coming for him. We're going to go to Tom and Matt, two of my favorite commentating duo since Don and Mike. Putting over everything, talking about episode 1000 part 2, which we'll skip because we're going to talk about that later before we wrap up. But we're going to go to Tommy Dreamer, and he's talking about fun moments with the DMC and exactly what we talked about, Lucha, and exactly what we felt, Johnny. Like, on paper, Tommy winning, no, okay, we get it. Does it hurt the lineage? No, it's still Tommy Dreamer on a nameless. But at the same time, it feels like a moment. It was a fun moment for the people in the crowd and for the people that watched. I felt that was electric. And then now he's going to be traveling, and I don't know. He's talking about fun moments. It made sense to me. And he's going to get a belt extender as well, which Tommy keeping it funny and short and passionate and sweet and natural is my favorite Tommy. Okay with it so far? That's how I'm going to preface it. Sorry. Okay with it?
Yeah. It's good so far. I don't know. I don't expect it to be a long reign necessarily, but probably at least Bound for Glory.
Yep, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Let's make it count for a month.
Right. Lucha?
CM Punk is going to win the Digital Media Championship at Bound for Glory.
Man, we'll see you in 2 months. We'll see. That's a good point. October 21st is Bound for Glory on a Saturday. We'll be here live Sunday, October 22nd for the review. Join us then. We love you guys. Thank you. We love you guys. No one knows what we're talking about, but there was a show called TNA Reaction for a hot second.
Hell yeah.
And there's a Motor City Machine Guns promo, which we'll never forget, with Chris Sabin. It's not even that important, but it's still funny. But yeah, Tommy has the belt here, making fun moments. That's exactly what he's there for. We'll see where that plays out. But we're going to go into X Factors. Chris Sabin's going to throw the X before he comes down. He's going to take on Lio Rush, who is, I appreciate, in a Sangriento throwback pants for in honor of TNA original Sangriento. But Chris Sabin, in the main event of episode 1 and in the main event of episode 1000, insane facts, and he wins his 10, and you can see us doing it like Mark's behind him. His 10th X Division Championship on episode 1000. Really cool shit. Even better on TV. Johnny, your exact sentiments?
Yeah, agree. Really good on TV. And you've smartened me up to the whole potential 10th reign going in. So it seemed, yeah.
It made sense.
So who Is it who has the most reigns? Is it him?
Him, yeah.
Yeah.
He keeps beating Chris Sabin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think it was the Twitter or the Instagram account actually had the audacity to say Chris Sabin wins his 10th X Division championship, breaking Chris Sabin's record of like, bitch.
Hey, look, we crowned ours on TNA 2K, but Chris Sabin, when I was doing the video game or the trivia house, what was it? Not 18 Ultimate X's and 8 victories, or 19-9. Now he's the 10-time champion. The next closest is AJ Lethal and Kazarian with 6, I think. I'm probably wrong. Someone correct me.
Aries got to be up there too.
He had the longest reign, so maybe not as many. That's I don't remember. He's the X Division. Chris Sabin is Hail Sabin. I think he's, at this point, king of the X Division.
At this point, has he taken... Controversial statement alert. Controversial.
Yes.
Has he taken AJ Styles' place as Mr. TNA?
It's hard because looking, I don't know. It depends when you're born, right? But if you look at it from a historian like June 19, from that day on, it's hard to get out of the fact that it's the house that AJ built. Like, that was the saying, that was the mantra, like, that's what it felt like. So it's hard to do that. But as far as like
some Chris Sabin ass nails.
What would you say?
AJ Styles might have built the house, but these nails is Chris Sabin made.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he fortified the motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I'd have to go with Sabin.
Oh yeah.
Myself, yeah. I mean, just longevity wise,
it's impressive. Because the times are different too. Yes, he did peek in and out for different reasons, but he's always came back and made it relevant. It wasn't like a wasted Sabin. I don't know. We've always got the best out of Sabin or Impact / TNA has, from Asylum days to the TNA days to like every era has had a little of Chris Sabin. But that was the show. I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. If I had to put a number on it, 1 through 10, I'm going 8.5, somewhere in that range, because, maybe even higher. Because for something that, just as a viewer, I'm watching, this is the main event and witnessing the 10-time champion. As a viewer, I'm witnessing these amazing amount of knockouts come out in the beginning. There's a lot of good shit here. There's a little bit for everyone. I'm going that high, if not higher. Let's go to Lucha first, who watches weekly, and then I'll see from a outside perspective.
I give it an 8. I mean, they got the cheap. The reason why I'm not gonna give it the in love grade is because they got the cheap pop of history and the fact that it's 1,000 episodes, blah blah blah. But even still, as an overall episode, putting everything together, it was still solid as shit. The pops popped, at least ones that we saw.
Right.
I'm a little disappointed that Rohit didn't get a pop when he came out, though.
I was disappointed too. I felt bad. I'm gonna be real, and not for him, he probably don't give a shit. But it's like, oh man, he's back, and as someone who's been rocking even in the tough times, and he was one of those first to rock with us during those times. It was kind of
Dude, Rohit was one of the highlights of COVID era
Yes. Yes.
Like, me and my cousin, we say it all the time. Like, we were watching Impact, and Rohit was just a little jobber ass dude that just talk all this shit but get shut the hell up quickly.
But he was it popped. I'm not saying the rest was whatever, but he stood out, whatever.
He did what he was supposed to do. Then he looked up and got that X belt, and then from there it was a wrap.
Yeah, it was good times.
I saw the look. He was about to help Bane, and he was like,
"Where are you right now?"
Dang. I'm giving.
Are you in 2021? You're in 20. Is that where you are?
I might have been 20.
Oh, 2020. Oh yeah, 2020. Holy shit.
There was no crowd.
Okay, so 2020.
So it was either 20 or early 21.
All right, back on 2023 episode 1000, Johnny. Where are you going?
I'm right. I'm right with
story.
y'all. I'm going with an 8.
Okay.
Because I think just thinking back versus the live experience, when you of course, in just the context of the episode, they did a lot more than the nostalgia bits backstage, or at least the whole like cameo stuff. But yeah, I'd say eight is good. The Feast or Fired I thought was fun, just because it's different.
Right.
They don't do it every week.
Not anymore.
There's a good mix. Lots of names involved, and yeah, but nothing really. And they gave the women's segment like a whole lot of time with the understanding that it's a whole 2 week deal. So
yeah, because that's going to mean
to rush all that.
Question: was that first like at the tapings, or was that like down the line during the actual tapings? That knockout segment.
I feel like, and great question, because I was literally trying to piece it together, and I was like, BTI felt like, the digital media match was at the very end, or digital, whatever they call it. That will be Moose and Myers versus Dreamer and Rhino or something.
Yeah,
interesting.
So when we came in, it was BTI, if I'm not mistaken. Kylan King versus Jody Threat. Then that talking segment. It was taped in order. Not everything else was, but that was taped in order, I feel like.
Didn't they have Dango?
Versus something?
Something? Yeah.
They taped... That was before all of this?
I feel like it was. Because they had to take the stuff down after Feast or Fired and Ultimate X.
That might make sense because Bravo... It would have been the second time we saw Bravo, and he came out in the Feast or Fired, which would have been in the beginning, or no, right back to back. It would have been dang. Oh, maybe that's possible. Yeah, but it was either way. It was pretty damn close to what we tempo wise to what we saw. So this kind of kicked off the
logically.
So this kind of kicked off the holy shit, parts. But as far as episode 2 goes, we're going to get Ultimate X. They announced that, so we could talk about who's in that really quick and run down that. We're getting Wentz, Alan Angels, Samurai Del Sol. Is that how he? Yeah, now it is Kalisto, formerly known as Kalisto. Mm-hmm. Who am I missing here? Bailey? Oh, Speedball Mike Bailey. And was it Chris Bay or was it Ace Austin? One of the two.
I think it's Ace.
Austin.
Ace was in this, and then Bay was in Feast or Fired.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that to look forward to. I like that. Feast or Fired reveal. So next week we get a backstage. This is what happens with the briefcases. We get Dango versus something, as Johnny mentioned. Josh versus Trey, as I mentioned prior, which is a great match. That actually ended at least our night. There was that digital media, but 3.5 hours we had to go. And then the 5KO versus 5KO matchup, as well as the EY versus Kenny King. I'll just say it might. Well, I could say it. We could say it turns into an 8-man. It's a 4-on-4 match.
Good lord!
It's a 4-on-4.
Shout out to Sharkboy.
No, yeah, he might make the match. Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does make the match. I don't know. I don't remember if it was for that where he came out.
They explained his role on this episode, so at least the backstage bit.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yep, he did. And that wasn't, told to us before. He just came down and he had the authority to make a match. And he makes a good one. If I'm not mistaken, it's that one. But what did you guys think? What are you looking forward to next week? Critical Sting, by the way, helping us out as always. Emergence 2020 Lucha was that Rohit thing, the Rohit pay-per-view. There's one thing I want to talk about real quick. I want to mention Heath expiring. All the love to Heath. He's the DDP of Impact right now. No matter what he does, happy for him. Deserves another run if he gets it. Got to fulfill the prophecy of 3 world champions from 3MB. But either way, would be happy to have him around. And the other thing, real quick, you guys left a lot of comments on my reaction of it, and I didn't get to say everything I want to. Sometimes I'm kind of cramming everything in there, and I'll re-advise that. But as far as CM Punk goes, we are going to Bound for Glory. I have a person that does watch AEW here. I have a person who is a out loud hater of it, and then me who I laugh at it, just as I laugh with anything. I laugh at us. So, LOLTreeNA, in fact, join us coming out soon. But we had some people I want to make a mention. We kind of had a split here. We had Gary and Mr. Majestic. It seemed that was more like at the yay, that we have a better structure, that he could come in and maybe build something. That would be the thing that excites him. We had Sky's Blur, who was a realist and said, we ain't got the money. Or the crowds. That song is a big, important part of it.
That's facts.
But we are AXSTV. We are the music channel or something, right? And then Brooklyn Bleak and Millard, who are just not big fans of the dude for one reason or another, stealing Kenta's stuff or just human being stuff. I don't know the dude. And I like to look at everyone's, the better side of everyone. I like to think we do have a better structure, or a more strict one, or a more obvious one. Here's who's the leader. Here's who puts, whatever. And once again, for all intents and purposes, we have Bully Ray in the locker room, who's not shy of his opinion.
Rhino.
And we have all these people. We have all these personalities that, seem to be able to take criticism. Maybe not so much. I won't get into that. That's another time. But I think he would fit in. I think if AJ Lee came with him, that would work too. But the money is in. Look, Survivor Series, I think, is in Chicago. The money's there to stick it to, right, to make one more big payday and all that. It makes sense. But playing devil's advocate. Say he wants to make a difference. He doesn't want to work for that Vince McMahon or, UFC, whatever, Endeavor. And he wants to make a difference, and he knows the way he can prove that he is a draw, that he is whatever, is that he goes to Impact/TNA and makes it rise, that kind of shit. So I see the enticement there because, his way of thinking. But I want to get each of your take of, would you take a chance if you're Impact's place? Kind of be the split decision here. One more thing I want to say is, because someone wrote this in the comments, do I think that just signing him is going to get us ratings tomorrow? No. But the ratings to me don't matter as much. The Nielsen ratings, 44,000 households in the United States don't tell me shit. They also don't tell the clicks and even if people that are CM Punk fans just go to watch YouTube clips, they still get money for those YouTube clips. They get money from the licensing. They get money for the foot in the door that he brings to the company. Be it video games, be it merchandise, be it whatever, people are drawn to this guy for better or worse, depending on how you look at it. But either way, enough of me. Let's go for someone who actually watches AEW on the regular. He's got his finger on the pulse. Johnny, your thoughts on, would you take a swing?
Obviously the biggest hurdle I would say is money. Unless he is just at a point where he's feeling creative and not worried about the money side. Like if it's just like, if it's the art from the artistic side of it all, like anybody who does like a Wes Anderson film, they take
Right.
they take no money because it's just
for the
they know
art.
they'll have a good time. Yeah.
Real quick, just to, you keep going, but I just want to, unless new TV deal is the goal for Anthem, we don't need him long term. Oh, that makes sense. And maybe short term artistic project, as Johnny's saying, makes sense.
Yeah. I'd love to see it. Just to see, him pop up anywhere else. Just how will they use him? How long will he last? See that, that kind of thing.
It's in some eyes, and someone said in the comments, it could be a ticking time bomb. I don't know. I think we're in a different situation, and with everyone at where they are, us included, and him as an entity as well, this might be his last shot to get some big money. So that's why maybe it's not, but he might need to take a chance on somewhere and prove that he's a good person, or whatever the hell you want to swing it.
A team player
to get the heat off. But there is a lot of cash involved, so I understand that. But with Bound for Glory being Chicago, people are going to think, and of course he came backstage and played Uno, so of course that means we have a chance. Lucha, your thoughts though, yay or nay?
I'm still on yay. Like, what I'm saying, it would be dope to see him come through. As far as his theme song, maybe a way they could get around it. I'm sure they got a live version that's played on Access at some point.
That's yeah.
Just drop the live version.
I mean, that's a way around it, man. If they could do it, I just think that a Bound for Glory.
And it's like the schedule is a plus, because it's like AEW or WWE, you got to deal with homie like week after week after week after week. Impact, you just got to get through like a weekend.
Right.
And then you don't see dude for like 2-3 weeks, and then you got to see him again, and it's like,
yeah, we just got to smile.
if it's a ticking time bomb,
right?
At least under this format, the bomb will take longer to explode.
Right, there you go. I like the way you're looking at that, and that's a worst case scenario. There might be a situation where, when you have things in place and structure, and you don't go downstairs and your boss is just doing lines off of other employees' foreheads, allegedly. I don't know. Maybe you're just like, I'll listen a little more. I care a little bit more about being here. I don't friggin' know.
Give me CM Punk versus Jordan Grace.
That is the one thing I was thinking about, was not that was not an interesting, whatever, but if he did come here and it was for the artistic part of it, and he's only here for a little bit, he's doing a couple programs, who is the person? It has to be Josh, right?
I say Sabin / Shelly also.
Oh, yeah.
Macklin. EY.
Look, I love all of them, but you're CM Punk. You come in and you're like, yeah, I'll do this thing with Impact, and I want to, show that whatever, but also that I could still do my shit and make a difference. Who do you say I want to work with?
Just one, or like?
Say top 3. We'll end on that.
Top 3? Okay, cool. Josh. EY. Chris Bed. Just because he said, I'd fight you on Twitter.
Okay. Johnny?
Ooh. I'm trying to think of it as in, like, is he going to come in, be on top to show, like, he has to establish that again?
Let's play as if he's coming in for 3 matches before he goes where he gets the money into WWE and doesn't have that live version.
3 programs with cats, but you'll get like a random 6-man superstar tag here and there.
Yeah, besides for that, yeah.
I think Josh Alexander for sure.
Okay.
I don't know, like Mike Bailey comes to mind, but
that would be
but that finisher though, like I'm just like, he's not gonna take those things.
Well, most likely he wouldn't be taking it anyways.
Okay,
that's fair.
Yeah.
That or the Flamingo driver.
Trying to picture that one, but yeah, EY would be great, I think.
Okay.
Just
that'd be a real solid match.
Okay.
Lots of pile drivers.
Critical. The old school wrestling storytelling between them two.
Yeah, that work. He says, as someone who never been that much of a Punk guy, he doesn't move me that much. That's Critical Sting. I've always been wishy-washy. I'm always a fan of his work. I lost some places in between, but generally liked him, man. Especially in ROH after that. But if I had to say the 3, I'm going to go one of the Motor City Machine Guns. I think he'd probably want both. I'll go. I love Shelly, but I think Sabin and him would just be different. So I'm going to go Sabin. I'm going to go Josh, and I'm going to go Moose. I think you would want to you would want to a little bit of everything, and I think those 3 would be a little bit of everything to test and show, and it also flows with what he can do. So,
and I got 2 honorable mentions.
Yes,
actually, I got 3, but I'm only gonna say 2.
All right, then we'll say our buys.
Well, I'm not gonna say one. I'm cheat code because I already said Jordan Grace, Steve Macklin.
Yeah.
And how did I lose it?
Well, while he's thinking of that,
Treehouse.
That's what we'll plug. You can see Lucha on Tuesdays for Go Power Rankings. You can see him on TNAIW when that comes back.
I got it.
Hey, look at
Frankie Kazarian.
Oh yeah. That's good shit. But we'll see what happens next week on episode part 2, or episode 1000 part 2. Some really good stuff I'm looking forward to. I'm sure we'll shoot the shit in some capacity, but I thank you guys for joining and watching us here. They're live in the chat. You guys rock, or in comments, or just watching in between. Watch time's been great. The like percentage has been great. I thank you guys. Keep liking, keep subscribing. We're at 408, trying to get to 415, one for every video we have. One fan at time, so we appreciate you guys. So Tuesdays is that. TNA 2K coming back at some points. TNA coming back, and then Trivia House. Test your knowledge there. Thank you guys. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Lucha. Anything you guys want to say, plug, or, yeah.
Oh. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's good time hanging out.
I bought in.
All right,
Before the treehouse.
Yeah, look out for the treehouse. Hey, Millard! Oh, I missed the show. It's all right, buddy. Look out for us on Treehouse soon. Maybe doing this again shortly. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Look out for episode part 2 of 1000. It's going to be damn good. The main event's a damn good time. And some cool Sharkboy moment of rebooking. But look out for the shell, yeah. See you guys next time. Thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. TNAIW. Cross the line.